Third video I'm shooting for today, and I'm legitimately very close to losing my voice. But hey guys, welcome to Academia. This is Vaibhav, and we are here to look at the themes and the title and critical remarks and tips for answers for Java Beach. Let's get started. So, if we talk of the themes of the poem, there are three most pronounced themes. The first is the Victorian crisis of faith, which basically shall be titled as the loss of faith. Okay, so loss of faith or conflict between science and religion. The next is love as the last solace, and the third is appearance versus reality. Now, if we talk of loss of faith, I have already explained it to you and I have gone in great depths in the literary analysis video how throughout the poem we have this sense of pessimism and we have this constant reiteration of the fact that faith is being lost. Faith on God, on religion, it is going away, it is vanishing away. Okay, it is diminishing. We see how the pebbles are bringing the tremulous cadence and they are bringing the eternal note of sadness in. The sound is not rhythmic, it is basically a grating roar. We are seeing how on the French coast, the light gleams and is gone. We are seeing how the cliffs of England, although they are right now glimmering and vast, yet they are prone to erosion, right? We also have been alluded to Sophocles, who was a Greek tragic writer, and we have been told that how he was sitting on the Aegean and the sea, there was a turbid ebb and flow of human misery and all that. Then we are being told that the sea of faith, the melancholy long withdrawing roar is being heard, and what will be left? The dreary edges will be left, naked shingles will be left. All that has been told throughout the poem, and all this is happening because of Victorian crisis of faith. So much of commercialization, so much of advancement, so much of development, so much of scientific technology being invented, all this is giving people disillusionment and disorientation. Science and commerce and trade and economy cannot give what people want emotionally. It cannot satisfy people emotionally, according to the speaker and the poet. Materialism cannot satisfy people emotionally. We need love. We need emotions. We need values. We need compassion, benevolence, and we need religion and God, so says the speaker. Which brings us to the next title of the theme, or rather the point for theme, which is love as the last solace. In this entire chaos, in this entire mayhem, where ignorant armies are clashing by night, and the world which just appears to be beautiful and so various, so beautiful, so new, but it really does not have anything in it. It is insubstantial, unsubstantial, anything, but it is without substance. Okay, it does not have anything in it. Actually, it is vacant. It has neither help nor joy, nor love, nor certitude. It basically has nothing in it. It's all empty. And why is it happening? Because people do not love one another unconditionally. They hold grudges against one another. They want to take revenge on one another. They want to cheat. They want to bribe one another. There is theft. Then there are all kinds of social evils. There are no emotions and integrities and ethics left. Why? Because the faith on God, on religion, is going away. And the speaker says that all this can be conquered. It's not so that it has become a very, very disgusting situation. It can still be battled. How? By seeking love as the last solace. Okay, by seeking serenity and solace and peace in love, and not just any kind of love. Romantic love at its most unconditional and rational, and love which is just there unconditionally. Shower one another with as much love as you can. And this is the message we learn from this poem, to love one another unconditionally. The world today actually lacks love. People hate one another. There is so much of hatred in the world. There should be hate spread against crime and evils. But let us remember that hate cannot kill hate. We need to think of something else. So we need to spread positivity. That is what the speaker is saying. We need to love unconditionally and just be there for one another. Be happy for one another. Act like humans, not the naked shingles. And the last is appearance versus reality. Now see, if we look at the first stanza only, the opening of the poem is quite beautiful and romantic and positive. The sea is calm tonight, the moon lies fair, okay, everything is very calm and placid. But as it progresses, the tremulous cadence comes in, the eternal note of sadness comes in, the grating roar comes in. Appearance was that it is all very calm and everything. But actually, the sound It is grating roar. It is a tremulous cadence. It is bringing in sadness. This pointer for theme is further solidified and cemented in the last stanza, where the speaker says that this world that lies before us like a land of dreams that is so beautiful, so various, so new, actually is insubstantial. It actually does not hold anything. There is nothing in it to hold on to. It is completely dismal and gloomy. It is dreary. It does not have people to help one another. How many of us go down on the streets and help those in need? We might donate to charity, etc. But when we see people asking for a free ride to somewhere, to pull a car or a bike, we don't do that because we just can't trust people. Today, we can't trust people. If a person is standing and asking for a carpool, asking for a lift, 95% of the times we will not do that because we are somewhere or the other insecure inside for our own safety. This is where the world is going. And what kind of world? The world which appears so beautiful, so various, so new. It is devoid and bereft of peace, of the basic fundamental, of the basic entity that binds human beings, which is love. It is lacking, which is why we need to go back to the love. So the appearance was so beautiful and glamorous, and plush, but actually it's a waste. So yeah, those are the themes of this particular poem. Now we would want to discuss a critical remark which can come up as a question as well, which is Darwin's theory. Now see, during the time of Matthew Arnold, there were a lot many environmentalists or other biologists and scientists who came up with these postulates for evolution of human beings. Charles Darwin was one of them, and Charles Darwin's book On the Origin of Species by Natural Selection, this was the most read and widely accepted book for evolution of human species. What it said was that it is not so that God has created us. See, the original actual Christian belief was that we were basically a lump of clay and God had breathed life into us. This is how human beings came. That was the belief of the Christians and the religious beliefs. But actually, when Charles Darwin published his book on the theory of evolution of species by natural selection, on the origin of species by natural selection, this was the name of the book, On the Origin of Species by Natural Selection. In that book, he basically said that it's not so that God has breathed life into us or something like that. It's just that we have evolved. The survival of the fittest was the name of this theory. That person or that animal that can survive, good to go. Otherwise, the rest will die. This challenged the Christian beliefs and the religious beliefs. And Matthew Arnold, by the way, was a very, very religious man. He was quite religious and he believed in God, in religion. And when he saw his own beliefs to be challenged by, when he saw his own beliefs being challenged by Charles Darwin's theory, he was anxious. He did not know what to do now. He could not see any future of humanity, just like Thomas Hardy. So yeah, that was the theory and that was about it. That was the background. You can be asked that how is Charles Darwin's theory, posing a challenge to Matthew Arnold. The kind of cognitive dissonance he faced with that. So yeah, that was about Darwin's theory. Next, let us come to how is this particular piece of poem a dramatic monologue. If you had noticed in the literary explanation, I was constantly referring to the speaker, she or he. Because I did not say nowhere that Matthew Arnold is saying such and such. The speaker is saying such and such. Because this entire poem is a dramatic monologue. What dramatic monologue is, if you need to know that, go check out my video on rudimentaries of English, you'll find that. But just a gist of it, in dramatic monologue, the poet assumes an identity of a speaker and then speaks through that medium, assumes the voice of the speaker, and through that speaker delivers the entire message. And this entire poem is a dramatic monologue only. So if you are asked in a question, how is Dogger Beach a dramatic monologue? Discuss. You will first tell what dramatic monologue is. Just like we will first tell what an ode is as far as we are the music makers are concerned. We will tell what an elegy is as far as the darkling thrush is concerned. In the same manner, we will tell what a dramatic monologue is. The definition is there in the rudimentaries of English, but I will explain it to you in short what it is. You will define it, what dramatic monologue is, in one paragraph, and then go on to write how is this poem a dramatic monologue. the poet has assumed the identity. Then the speaker talks of how, the French coast the moonlight gleams and is gone. Over here we have the cliffs. Then the sweet wind, the night wind is coming, and then the tremulous cadence and grating roar, eternal note of sadness. And Sophocles' point can also be included in it, and the same sound is being heard by the speaker. Then the speaker says that the sea of faith was once girdling around the earth, it is gone now, and the speaker apprehends that only naked shingles will be left. And then the speaker invites the lover to be there, that let us be true to one another, and then all that. And finally ends at a note of pessimism, that ignorant armies are clashing by night. Which basically wants me to tell you that how do I know that there is a lover over here? See, the speaker, and how do I know that this is a speaker? I know because the speaker is inviting the lover. Come to the window. He says that, she or he says that, come to the window. Listen. She won't ask himself or herself to listen. She or he is asking the speaker, listen. You can hear the grating roar. Then says, love, let us be true to one another, as if in a conversation. Or just even if not looking at the lover, but just talking to somebody, maybe to the lover. So this is how it is a dramatic monologue. A well-developed answer can be there in this as well. If you want a cross-reference for dramatic monologue, then poems like, in fact, the poem, which is Dolphins by Carol Ann Duffy, which you all must have studied in class 11, that is a dramatic monologue. So that can be mentioned, okay, as a cross-reference. It will gain you marks. I think so. With that, I have finished whatever analysis and discussion I had to do as far as this poem was concerned. I won't be going into much depth because the paper pattern has changed. You will have to pay equal emphasis and importance, give equal importance to the MCQs and to the long answers as well. I would want to discuss an answer, a question rather, but before that I will give you the cross references. See, whichever answer will come, because this entire poem has this, everywhere it is spread, the theme of loss of faith and Victorian crisis of faith. It is a very, very pervasive theme. So whichever answer you will write pertaining to this poem, it will somewhere or the other have to have a mention of loss of faith. And the same theme is there in The Duckling Thrush by Thomas Hardy. So that can be mentioned. Okay, then the three most celebrated Victorian poets, Matthew Arnold, Robert Browning, and Alfred Lord Tennyson. All three of them have a very sad tone at times in their poems and write-ups, because all three of them wrote on Victorian crisis of faith. So if you just mention that, Browning and Tennyson also wrote on Victorian crisis of faith, that will very easily and safely become a cross-reference for you. Now let me discuss this question: how is conflict between religion and science been brought up in the poem? Discuss. I have already discussed. The theme, loss of faith. Science and commerce and trade cannot provide the basic human emotions that we want. Faith can provide that. Faith can provide that. So yeah, all this will have to be elaborated in your answer, and I think so that shall suffice for this particular poem. I'll see you all with the stories and Shakespeare and other things. Until then, goodbye. Light has gone. I'll have to see what to do. Goodbye.